Theodore Crljenica was born in Windsor in 1956. His maternal father came to Canada in 1927 from Lika, Croatia, and his mother was born in Montreal. Mr. Crljenica's father was born in Banja Luka, Bosnia, Yugoslavia. They got married in Windsor in 1955. His parents have lived in Windsor ever since. Mr. Crljenica, why did your parents decide to make Windsor their home?
My mother came here as a child with her parents, and my maternal grandparents settled in the Windsor area, having come to Canada in the late 20s looking for work, and my grandfather eventually found work at Ford. And there was a large ethnic community in Windsor, as I understand it, because of the availability of work. And in those times, work was off and on a lot. So it was a question of work for my maternal grandparents. My father came to Windsor after World War II as a displaced person, and I believe he came in 1947, and by that point Windsor had a large ethnic community itself that attracted a lot of the people that were coming to Canada after World War II, and that's how they both ended up here.
Tell us about your childhood.
My childhood, I'm an only child. I grew up in a home with my maternal grandparents and my parents, which I think was very important because family is important to me, and I think that flows from the fact that I did grow up in a house with my maternal grandparents. Spent a lot of time with my maternal grandmother and grandfather, although my grandfather died when I was 9 years old. Learned a lot about my culture and heritage from them. Learned what little of the language I know from them, and I think it's probably the most important thing that happened to me in my childhood.
Now, tell us about your education.
High school completed in 1974 in Windsor. After that, I went to the University of Windsor and obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree with a major in economics, graduating in 1978. And went to law school right after that at the University of Windsor and graduated in 1980.
Did you get any honors or awards or anything during your school year or in the university?
Well, in high school, I was a, what do you call it, where you get the scholarship. Isn't this embarrassing? For finishing with a over 80 average, and then in university I was on the president's roll of scholars for, I believe, 5 of the 6 years I was in university.
Why did you want to be a lawyer?
It's probably a function of being the son of immigrants, and it was very important to my parents that I continue with my education to the fullest extent possible. And probably because they knew that they had difficult lives because of a lack of education, and it was very important to them that I have that education. And in pursuing that education, it was a matter of just deciding on what areas I was interested in and which areas didn't interest me, and through the course of elimination decided that I'm stubborn enough to be a lawyer.
If not law, what would you have chosen?
Tough question. I think I had mentioned that I have a Bachelor of Arts with a major in economics. I found economics very interesting. I probably would have pursued that with at least a master's degree in economics and made a career of economics. But I'm quite happy with law, so.
Do you still keep up with Serbian culture and heritage?
Very much so. I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, and we attend the Serbian Orthodox Church almost every Sunday. We miss the occasional Sunday. I am involved and have been involved in various committees in the Serbian community, and have enrolled my children in language classes through the Serbian community, and intend to continue to expose them and myself and my wife to various aspects of our culture.
Do you speak Serbian language too?
I think I do, but some people who really speak it don't think that I do. I speak it, but poorly. And that's probably my biggest disappointment in life, is that I don't speak it as well as I could, especially having grown up in a household where I was exposed to the language from birth. I really should speak it better than I do.
How involved, sorry, you said that
That's
question.
okay, go ahead.
You said the question. So
That's okay. I didn't answer it in detail.
Okay. How involved are you in the Serbian community? You already said that. So.
Well, I can expand on that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm moderately involved, I would say. In addition to attending church on a regular basis, I've been on the church board for a number of years. I was on the building committee for the Serbian Community Center, which took a number of years and a lot of work. I've been on the audit committee, which involves auditing all of the various organizations in that operates under the Crljenica Serbian Church Authority. And I'm currently vice president of the Crljenica Nonprofit Housing Corporation, which is a newly opened building for senior citizens and geared to income family residential units.
What about the Canadian community?
I've been on the board of the Canadian Cancer Society Windsor unit. I was the education director for 4 years. I was the treasurer of the Canadian Cancer Society Sun Parlor unit for 2 years. I have been secretary of the Essex Law Association for 2 terms, and I am currently in the process of joining the board of the Hospice of Windsor.
Is there anything you like to change about your life, professional or personal?
That I could change or couldn't change?
Could change
That I
means
could
whether
change?
you're happy with.
As I say, I am disappointed with my degree of knowledge of my Serbian language, and if I could go back and change that, I would, and I'm continuing to work on that and hoping to change that. In terms of my other things that I would like to see that I know I can't see, is that my mother passed away 9 years ago, and I'd like her to see my children. But we can't always have those things.
What are your hobbies and interests?
Well, right now my children are my hobby. With the amount of work that I do as a lawyer, and with what we've discussed in terms of the Serbian community and as I indicated, the hospice, my hobbies are becoming less and less a part of my life. I played hockey for a number of years. I try to get over to the YMCA and exercise 2 or 3 times a week and play some squash. Just enjoy my children and my wife.
Tell us about your family. When and where you met your wife, about your wedding.
Well, my wife is from Sault Ste. Marie, and she is an occupational therapist, and she works at the Children's Rehabilitation Center working with disabled children. And currently she's working part-time because of our own children at home. We met in Windsor. She was in Windsor on a job placement during her education at the University of Western Ontario. We married in 1984, and we had our first child in 1987, Timothy, who's now 4.5. Our second child, Brian, who was born in 1989. He's 2.5, and we had a daughter in December of 1991, Natalie, who's now 5 months old.
Mr. Crljenica is married to Marianne Askin, and they have 3 children. His maternal grandfather, Matthew Beacon, died in 1965, and his maternal grandmother, Maria, in 1990. His mother, Anne, also died in 1983. Ted's father, Peter Crljenica, still lives in Windsor.